Good.
Now, if you are watching the chat, then you know
You're in on our secret.
You're in on the secret, which is that Dr. Lofton is here in studio. Good morning, Doc. Hold on, I got to do this, Dr. Lofton, because since you're here, it's good stuff right here. Good morning, Doc.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Love this weather.
Yeah. Oh man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Although it's kind of weird inside when weather like this, because I walked in and you know me, I love a warm room. I turn the air on and then put the
It's like
sweater
90 when I get here in the morning.
But it felt so good.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get warm. You know, you get to moving, shaking. You're like, okay, I'm warmed up now. And then it's too hot. And then you start, you know, it's like there's that. And then you walk outside, it feels so good. But you don't want to turn the AC on because it feels so good outside. But anyway.
Time of year.
Yes. I think this is fall for real. Although we will see near 90 degrees.
Oh, really?
Or not 90, is it?
It's
definitely going to be 80 something.
No, there's a chance of rain.
Ew.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Okay.
Friday, so it's a chance of rain. We got to look at that.
My bad. It's going to be 80 tomorrow. My fault. I said 90.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not horrible.
80's fine. That's doable.
Absolutely. 79 today. Humidity is at 100%, though. It's going to be a sticky 79.
I always liked, I used to run a lot, and I always look forward to these 40-degree mornings because it was like the perfect running temperature. So, I always kind of say, when we get our first 30s, when do we get the first 40s?
Yeah.
And,
well, I will say that we used to run 5Ks all the time. My father-in-law and my sons and stuff. And I actually did not like the cold runs because about halfway through, I started sweating pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get cold but hot, but you're sweaty but cold. You know, it's just that weird feel. So I never really liked a cold run. We did a few of those, but I like those just cool enough to keep you cool the entire time. But when you break sweat, you're not freezing.
Yeah, that's what I had it down how to dress when I was running. That we'd say shorties and 40s. So you still ran in shorts. That first month is that was my reminder to.
Oh, I was going to say same reminder I have. So I was making sure I wasn't jingle in here.
That's my Wednesday morning reminder to
call Jay and Laney J.
Yeah. But now I'm mainly a cyclist, so I actually like the warmer weather.
Yeah. How does the dress different? You said shorts while running.
Yeah. So, in cycling, so I did a race last weekend. I was supposed to do 50 and the storms came. So we backed down to 30 and it got wet. I got poured on, but the weather was nice enough. It actually felt good. But you're riding 15 to 20, 25 miles an hour. So the wind chill plays a factor and you're creating your own wind chill with your speed. And so it definitely is different. Right. You have to dress, but then you go up a hill, you start sweating, and it's even worse than cycling on that sweating hot.
I bet. Kind of cold. Yeah, because like you said, the wind chill, you're really moving through the wind, cutting through the wind.
Yeah.
I thought I'd go a little bit different today.
Okay.
We've had you on tons, but we really never asked you about how you became a doctor.
Okay.
We never. What was that? Was there always a drive for you to be a doctor, or did there something in your life happen that you're like, okay, that's where I want to go?
Sure. Yeah. So I was not always wanting to be a physician necessarily. I think back in high school, I actually wanted to, Top Gun came out and I kind of wanted to go to Air Force Academy and be a fighter pilot. I've got a red-green colorblind deficiency, so that was going to prevent that.
Gotcha. I'm too tall, so.
Sports were always been a big part of what I do. So I went into exercise science was my major in college, which gave me a lot of options. And kind of athletic training was a thought. But if I did that, I wanted to go all out. I was going to be, Dallas Cowboys, something like that. And then I started thinking, well, it's going to be hard to have a family life if you're gone every Sunday or something like that. And in my sophomore year of college, I worked at it's a Christian sports camp called Camp Ozark in Mount Ida, Arkansas, and worked in the health center and got to work with all the doctors and nurses all summer. So I helped them treat the bites, the scrapes, and the wounds, and met some really, really good, solid doctors because up to that point, I actually hadn't met a whole lot of doctors who families I wanted to emulate. I mean, there's it takes a lot out of your life, and if you're not grounded in faith and whatnot, it can just kind of like sometimes there's not the best preacher's kids you see.
Got you. Okay.
So anyway, I met some guys that are like, okay, you can be a solid Christian and still be a physician and have a life that was what I was wanting. So that kind of set me on that route. And from there on, after my sophomore year of college, started studying for the MCAT and went to UAMS and Little Rock, and then trained in Fayetteville for family physician. And I like everything. I thought I would get bored doing just dermatology or just one thing. I like people. I like talking about your grandkids and your sports or your farm, the vegetables, whatever. And
it's that bedside manner that I like so much.
That's
you know,
right.
he actually cares about that information
That's right.
too. He's not just making small talk.
Yes.
And, but I love seeing change. And like when you buy an old building, you can transform it. But I love seeing people. I was telling my wife, there was a patient I saw recently. They came to me for one thing as a teenager. They didn't come for their acne, and I was just like, hey, can I help you with your acne? And this huge smile came across their face. I just saw them this week again, and it's like complete in 1 month transformation.
Wow,
and it was
awesome.
just seeing the smiles, like that's what makes this job worth it.
That's a big deal too for the
huge.
kids.
Oh man, I had acne all the way up until I was early 20s, probably is when it started clearing up.
And there's good medicine, and there's help. And so this is like, this person didn't even know that they weren't coming to me for that complaint at all, and just nobody had ever said, hey, can I give you some medicine to help you
with that? Yeah. I think we had, remember the medicated pads? Do they? I mean, I'm sure they still have them.
I don't know.
But I haven't had to use one in a long time. But remember what was those? The medicated pads that wipe your face clean, get the
I do
oils
not
off.
remember what those were called.
Either, but,
you know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you're a 90s kid, you know for a fact what I'm talking about.
Kind of rough texture.
Yeah.
Rub, like, oh my gosh.
Exactly. Look at all that nasty on me.
So, but yeah, so it's, whether it be helping somebody lose weight or helping somebody's blood pressure, getting there's a person that I helped recently get that they start riding a bike, and I love it when I can get people riding bikes and they've lost 40, 50 pounds, and it's transforming their life. And that's the type of stuff that just makes it fun.
We had a comment on the chat that said, how does Doc feel about cloning? Could we go ahead and clone Doc and put him?
Yeah, we need a clone of you in
Yes,
Kentucky.
What I really need
Exactly.
is the ability to get about 2 hours sleep and just completely go.
There you go.
That's what I need.
There you go. What's that one guy that sleeps like 5 minutes every hour, or 5 minutes every couple hours, I think, and that's all he ever needs? I remember that.
Really?
It was about a decade ago he made it. He made the
goodness.
news because I only sleep 2 to 5 minutes every hour and a half or whatever it was. I don't know. But he had gotten to the point where he could fall asleep within seconds.
I'd worry long term, because sleep is when our body recovers. There's a lot of data showing how important sleep is. I like last night, I got to stay up late getting some work done. So I can feel it to that, but I'll need to get some decent sleep this evening.
Right. Right. And you really can't catch up, quote unquote. Maybe one day to one day you can catch up. But if you go out all weekend and say, well, I'm going to take a nap Monday morning, that's not going to help you really.
When you're younger,
it works. That's right. Doesn't work that way when you're in your 40s.
No, it doesn't.
Good morning, Mr. OG.
Sorry, I had to stay up late. What was it? Anyway, I didn't like yesterday, or night before I went to bed early, and I woke up at 3, just wide awake. I did fall back asleep. I told my wife I should have just got up and got my work done because I felt good at the moment. And
right.
Just had enough to do that.
That happens to me all the time. I'll wake up 30 minutes, 45, an hour before my alarm, and I'll just lay there, and I'm like, why don't I just go ahead and get up? I know sometimes I'll go back to sleep, but many times I won't. So I'm just like, why don't I just get up?
Right.
Sleep cycles 90 minutes, so an hour and a half. So I kind of have a personal rule that if I get up within an hour and a half, and I don't just fall right back to sleep, just go ahead and go get up and get stuff going, because it's harder to actually wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle than it is in between sleep cycles.
So hitting the snooze button is actually negative.
It's no benefit whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
And that's a pet peeve of mine.
That really. Well, see, I have 2 alarms. Hadn't hit the snooze button in many years, but I do have 2 alarms. 60 to 75% of the time, I'll get up on my first alarm. Sometimes I'll snooze it, or not snooze it, but I'll turn it off because I have no snooze on it, and then I'll go back to sleep, and then that next alarm will wake me up. But very much more seldom for that second.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have another question for you along the same lines as that first one. What would be the most surprising thing about your career to you now? Something maybe you thought that was going to be, and now it really isn't.
Sure. I had no intentions of really opening my own practice. That it's not taught. Business side of medicine is not taught in medical school, and so you kind of have to learn a lot of that on your own.
Right.
When people ask me, if somebody said I want to go to be a doctor, what should I major in? I would say business and a minor in Spanish if you're gonna work around here. Just because there's so many Spanish speakers, and it helps to have additional staff if you don't speak Spanish.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't intend to go on my own. The Lord just sort of plopped it in my lap, really, and didn't intend to open a second practice in Broken Bow.
Right.
That was not on the radar at all. And just something we prayed about, and just again felt like the Lord led us over here.
Speaking of that, Amy just asked, is he taking patients in Broken Bow yet?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. And we put the phone number up for Laney
did.
so you can, if you watch on Facebook or YouTube, you can check out that phone.
And we're trying to grow. So right now we're here on typically Monday afternoons and Friday mornings, and trying to, as we get our client base over here, patient base over here built up, we're trying to expand to where it's half day every day. Although basketball season has started, and I do have to shift some days around. Like my daughter we found out last week she's starting for her college basketball team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I'm
That is
driving to
exciting.
Kansas.
As a freshman, right? A true freshman.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
That's
we're
exciting.
excited. So I'm driving to Kansas next Friday morning to go to see her play in Kansas.
I don't know a single person that would blame you on that one. I can't believe he did that.
But and stuff like that. So
Right.
we have a full time. Emily's our new staff member over here, full time, and so she's here drawing blood. If somebody walks in and says, "I think I got urinary tract infection," we're going to get your urine, run it, and she's going to call me and say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I'm driving to Kansas. I'm going to say, "Do this, do that."
Nice.
So we can take care. If I'm in D-Queen, somebody could come in. We can do a virtual visit.
Does that qualify as telemedicine when they call you and say, "What do I do, doc?"
What's interesting is the Medicare is what's the originating site. Well, if somebody's in my office, then they're in my office. I don't know that Medicare's thought that far ahead about.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
Because that's your time.
yeah.
Technically.
So
yeah.
so we're rural. So Medicare's telemedicine rule just ended, but we actually in the rural locations we get to continue it. So,
Okay. What does that mean? It ended.
They won't pay for it anymore in certain areas. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So because we are rural and it's a farther drive, then that makes it okay.
But they need to.
They do. Yeah.
It's so for people that are, especially you're older, you get sick and can't get there, and we can do a virtual visit. It makes it so. Yeah, we do those. I just had somebody yesterday that said, "Hey, where I live, they have maybe they don't like getting out in public that much. It bothers them, and they said, where I live, I don't have a good cell phone signal. So we'll drive to the top of the hill somewhere and just do it from your car, and we can do that."
Yeah, that's right. It's a good idea.
That's huge.
It is.
Absolutely.
Is everything, is the Broken Bow office good?
Yeah, we're good. Now we did have some guys show up yesterday. There was some drywall that wasn't quite to my liking, and I did not communicate that I was switching my schedule this week because of cross country and basketball.
Oh yeah.
And Emily said, "Oh my gosh, there's these guys that taped everything off." And I'm like, I forgot about that. So this morning I have a few patients, and I've already given a heads up. Like, we're going to have to
work around that.
Heads up. But yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have an appointment this morning at 9:45.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a message yesterday that said, "Hey, we just wanted to let you know that we have a little bit of construction going on that we'll have to work around this morning." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine."
Perfect.
But they let me know yesterday, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was at cross country meet in Mina yesterday and got the message. It's like, "Oh, let's." We didn't have a ton of patients this morning just because it wasn't planned. I had a cross country meet that came up I didn't know about. We rearranged Friday morning to today, and so yeah.
Well, I know this answer. I think I know this answer because we've talked for many years now. What is just one piece of medical advice you wish every single person would take?
So right now, I don't know that I'll ever get off the soapbox, but it's strength training.
Yep.
Knew it. I tell people you can have the strongest heart in the world, the best brain in the world, the best lungs, and at the end of your life, if you can't get out of the chair on your own, you are in a wheelchair and you're living with assistance the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so we do want to take care of everything else to get us to that point, but nobody wants to get to that point and then not be able to feed themselves or to get out of their own bed or on chair.
And it's crazy how much weight resistance can help with that. The more you do it, the longer you do it. If you're 72 right now, you can still do it.
Yep.
And you may have to start somewhere.
You can do it at home.
Exactly.
You can do it at a gym. do it wherever it works for you is what I tell my patients. And now you can get on AI, you can get on Grok or ChatGPT and say, I'm a 72-year-old man or woman. Here's my medical problems, and I want a 30-minute, 3-day-a-week workout with free weights or with home
Body
workout.
weight. Yeah.
It is amazing what it gives you.
I'd be ChatGPT.
It is absolutely amazing what it does.
ChatGPT will give you meals to eat and
Yep.
everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do
Absolutely.
it. They do it
Now,
all.
don't replace the doctor with
Right,
ChatGPT.
of course,
Right.
of course.
But you can use ChatGPT and you can say, hey, when you go to see the doc next, you say, hey, this is what I got. Is that good? Is this what I should be doing? He can say, yeah, or maybe taper this for you specifically because of your blood sugar or your, whatever you may have.
You know, something I don't mind people bringing stuff in. Sometimes it helps to have it ahead of time so I can read, because we're limited in our time,
Right?
And depending on how many complaints people have, it can be tough sometimes to get through some of that.
You mean you don't have 45 minutes to ChatGPT everything right there?
We're working towards trying to get more time. I mean, we really are. So, like, we have a program. If somebody's on Medicare and they have high blood pressure, we can get a blood pressure cuff that will track their blood pressure from home. And so we're making adjustments in between visits. Doesn't cost the patient. Medicare pays for this, and so It's got a cell phone chip embedded inside the machine. And so those types of things hopefully will help us generate more time in the clinic for people because we're dealing with things beforehand.
And of course, I was joking because when I go see Doc, he has all the time in the world. It feels like. I mean,
I
it
never
doesn't
feel rushed.
I was going to say I've never once felt like he was like, all right, I got to get out of here. I got to go to the next one. It's always been completely taken care of.
And we don't pre-double book. Occasionally I've got a full schedule and somebody shows up and I see, oh, okay, I think I can work you in.
Right.
We try. But if we're running long, sometimes last week I had what we thought was going to be a simple visit, and turned out somebody's still grieving their spouse that died, or their home life is terrible, and we're talking through, okay, here's situations, and so things unravel sometimes that you don't expect, and or people have more problems, or some days it's everybody's good and we're just breezing along, and so, but we try not to have waits and try to run on time best we can.
Well, there you go. Of course, we're running up on the end of our time this morning. Impossible questions coming up in about 4.5 minutes. But if anybody listening to the show thinks they need something, maybe have you got flu shots right now?
Oh, we do. We should have them over here. We got them both locations.
Perfect.
We were running out. I think we got the next delivery.
Okay, so flu shots. We both got ours live on the air. Very easy, very simple. He's very soft-handed. It doesn't feel like a jab,
Yeah.
So. But also anything else that you could possibly need when it comes to seeing a doctor or just texting. Sometimes, like you said, especially if you've already established, just got to shoot a text to and find out what's, you can help a lot of the time.
Yeah, we try to do that. And so, especially our Medicare patient, we take Medicare, all the Medicare Advantage plans. Yeah, we take those and we work with them.
I love it.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't?
Yeah.
No, just encourage people, if y'all are needing help, let us help you out, and we'll get you an appointment. And I do apologize in advance because of basketball season that I'm having to shift some schedules around some, and we weren't expecting Oakley to necessarily be starting this year and trying to make those games. And
well, this is a very small period of life.
Yeah.
So you should consume every second you can.
Yeah, and you have a life too, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay, and it's not like you're not there.
And
Because if you were gone and I needed something, I would probably just text you.
Yeah, I mean, and really, I tell people, so like with Medicare has a program that it's called Advanced Primary Care Management Services, APCM, and so we get to bill Medicare on a monthly basis for patients signed up for that service. And I tell them it doesn't pay a ton, but when collectively it helps.
Yeah.
I tell patients, look, I'm getting paid to be available after hours, and it's not free anymore like it used to be, and I was going to do it anyway,
right.
But it helps. So I tell people, you're not bothering me. It really doesn't bother me to get a text on the weekend, say, hey, I think I've got a bladder infection, or I need a refill. I check it throughout, on my 30-mile bike ride. I'm not looking at the text during that. I actually have a computer, and it shows me when stuff comes across, but still, occasionally I'll stop and be like, there you go.
That's fine.
We're here for you.
He'll even stop his
You
bike
deserve
for
to
you.
be able to go to your daughter's game.
100%.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think most people get that.
And we'll have staff there. I'll have some staff there to still help and get things done. We'll get the question answered, the refill, whatever it is.
I love it. What's that number, Doc?
870-642-4000.
In the year 4000. Oh, no, that's not it. My bad.
I'm sorry.
I've been waiting to do that.
My
Been
son
waiting.
should have had the 6-7 in there somehow.
I know. I love it. I love it. All right, Doc. Well, we appreciate you. It's always a pleasure. I know you got to
Yes,
get to
thank
it.
you for